Hello everyone, BastionConquers here with OGN, and I'm here with Phil.
Hello.
And Alzorath.
Howdy.
And this is the North American region of the podcast, because apparently podcasts have regions now, guys. You learned something new in 2 seconds.
Exactly. It's
You
perfect.
learned something new. Alright, so we're just going to jump straight into this. Alzorath first. What games are you currently playing on your channel?
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to ask me first.
Nope, go.
On my channel, Minecraft, Shadow Era. Let's see. I'll be playing Hex. I've been playing XCOM, Shadowrun. And outside of it, I've also been playing a lot of Kickstarter games, development builds. I've been playing a lot of games that people have just sent me. So the list
So basically,
is huge.
you have a crap ton of games.
Oh,
Pretty
yes.
much.
Yes.
Alright, Phil, go.
Grand Theft Auto 5. That's it. I'm done. I don't really do much of video gaming anymore.
Oh
'cause
yeah, I
I'm busy.
forgot. You're a non-video gamer friend that nobody wants to have.
Oh, shut up.
Ah! Okay, so for me, Grand Theft Auto 5 before my Xbox died. I'm kind of sad about that, but I'm okay. I have actually been streaming on Twitch with my 3DS, which I absolutely love. I've been playing Rune Factory 4 and Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. PC-wise, I'll be hitting Agarest and Forge again, and quite possibly Hex. I haven't decided yet. Alzorath kind of got me hooked. But I have not decided that yet. No, none of that. No. The creepy skull's laughing. Anyway, Phil, we're going to switch this up. What are your PC specs? Okay, go.
My PC specs, oh god. I'm afraid to say this because I know the PC gamers out there are going to point and laugh. But
That's what we do.
I have a
We're
MacBook
assholes.
Pro.
Oh god. Ha!
Because I do a lot of 3D work, and so I have it all on my portable graphicking machine. Graphicking is a word now.
Graphicking is now a word.
It's now a word. Beautiful. All right.
Alright, Alzorath, go.
Did you say Alzorath go?
Yes.
Let's see. I have an AMD FX 8120, 8 gigs of RAM, a decent video card that I'm not going to mention because people will laugh at it.
Already laughing. Ha!
It's a 640.
Oh.
It's not great, but it'll work.
But hey, it works.
Yeah, it works for what I do.
It works.
So, and yeah, a really crappy internet connection to boot.
Yes, internet connection for the loss. Anyway, I'm going to put both of you out of the water because I'm an asshole and it's what I do.
Lovely.
I got the FX 8350. I'm running 16 gigs of RAM, upgrading to 32 in about 2 days, and I'm running two 7950s overclocked to I think 1850 flops. I'm just not sure. That's probably the wrong terminology. I'm horrible at memorizing my specs, but I tried to sound smart there, and I failed. But it's cool. And now this time around, I'm going to go first and tell you what my favorite game of all time is, and that's going to be Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy Kong's Quest, because that's the first game that I remember playing with my brother at age 9 and always having to be Diddy Kong. I had to be. I could not be Donkey. Donkey was just too weird. I'm skipping it around, okay, Alzorath? Don't mess this up for me.
For those
Don't
of you
mess
who
this
don't know,
up.
for those of you who don't know, we're rushing through this podcast because we're all incredibly busy.
Yes, we're trying to just go through as fast as possible. Alzorath, favorite game of all time, go.
Favorite game of all time?
Yes.
Final Fantasy VI.
Oh, good
Plain
game.
and
good
simple.
Game. Phil, go.
Me? Oh god. Oh, why do you have to put me on the spot like that?
That's what I do.
Favorite
kind of the
game
point.
of all time. Oh my god. I don't know. I actually really don't know.
Okay, for Phil, it's going to be GTA 5. That's just all there is to it.
It has to be GTA 5 because I've just
gotta
been
be.
in love with that game so much.
He wants to have GTA 5's babies, which
Yes.
is impossible. Okay, favorite game of 2013, Phil, GTA 5, which no, we're not even going to ask the question.
Go GTA 5. Rockstar is not paying us.
Alzorath, go.
Right now it's Shadowrun Returns, but I'm hoping Hex will actually blow it out of the water.
I'm sure it will because, you're just one of those guys that, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of torn right now because Rune Factory 4 is kind of consumed my life. It's an amazing life sim plus dungeon crawler, so it's got everything that I love in gaming. But I think for 2013, I'm going to have to say, and I'm going to get a lot of backlash because I can't really back it up because I haven't played it in a month. It's going to be Forge. Forge is just one of those games that I got addicted to for 6 months straight and played a lot of. That and Payday 2. Payday 2 was fun. Anyway, okay. This is a biased question for me because I actually like both now that I've actually experienced the other side of the spectrum. But what is your best platform to stream to, Phil?
All right, I have looked at both platforms because I had to make the decision for the network. It was I want to go with YouTube, and that's because of the transcoding and all the awesome control panel features that you have. But now that Twitch actually added in the external broadcaster, so you can invite people in to broadcast to your channel, I kind of like Twitch a lot now because it simplifies having a lot of people. And you can kick those people. You don't need to give them usernames or passwords or anything. You can just kick those people from the list, and their stream key will be nullified. So I like Twitch for some things, but for other things, I like YouTube. I'm guessing I'm going to have to go with YouTube because all of our fan base is on YouTube, and I'm too lazy to try and build it up over Twitch.
Okay, Alzorath?
I've only streamed over Twitch. I love Twitch. I can see the advantages of YouTube, but Twitch just already has the infrastructure there, and it doesn't have the history that YouTube has with being a little bit glitchy at times. To put it as an understatement.
Alzorath's internet connection has kind of dropped a little bit. So, anyway, for me, I'm torn between the two because YouTube has on-site encoding, so people with slower internet connections can watch the streams. They don't have to suffer through lag. But Twitch, like Phil said, has the infrastructure. It has the fan base. It has the people. It has, it's built as a streaming platform. It's not a video platform that's kind of moved into streaming. And as Alzorath said, YouTube's a little finicky and picky, and they don't like my 3DS.
I want to change my verdict.
Okay, go.
Twitch, because the fact that you can stream whatever you want without YouTube's Content ID bitching at you.
Exactly. That's the other reason that I'm kind of pushing towards Twitch, because I can stream anything. Now, of course, people will say that's promoting illegal streams or whatever, and, to that I say bite me. Or phooey,
they're
if
not
I'm going to
even
be nice.
illegal, actually.
Well, no, it's not
gaming
that.
Commentary is an additive process, and it is a distinctly unique feature. As opposed to just streaming the game without any commentary. Now, without commentary, yeah, it's public display, not just commentary.
Yeah, but with YouTube, they don't. The Content ID doesn't check for commentary; it checks for sounds, and if it catches that sound, it's going to kick you off, like it did with me.
Yep.
And I got OGN's crap banned for 7 days because Content ID is a jerk face.
Pretty much.
But it's now back. I haven't touched it, and I'm not going to touch it until I have rights to do specific things because I don't want to fight with YouTube and damage OGN's rep and their numbers and the little red dot, because red dots scare me. Anyway, I'm going to skip 6 and move on to 7. What YouTuber would you go for? Not a pint because we're not British. Who would you go for Screw it. Who would you have a beer with, Alzorath?
I wouldn't have a beer with him because he's gluten intolerant, but it'd be Kurt J. Mack. I'd probably have a scotch with him.
Scotch. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Phil, beer, scotch, alcoholic beverage, YouTuber, go.
It would have to be...
Wait, can you drink beer?
Legally, no.
Okay, who would you go have a glass...
Who would you have a root beer with?
Who would you have a glass of milk with?
I would know. It would have to be... Oh, God. Who would... Okay, I'm going to go with... What's his face? Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, what's his face? That guy. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's amazing.
No, I'm talking about a guy on our network. Who
Tidy?
loves sips. Oh, I think it was Joe. Maybe Joe. I have no clue. But...
One of those guys.
One of those guys. It has to be Sips because he's just so amazing. It's just Sips from the Oxcast. He's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I love Sips.
I know what you're talking about. 2
Sips fanboys and the network already.
And now I'm going to be the schmoozer, and I would definitely have a beer with Alzorath because, that voice plus alcohol, I mean, come on, how much better can it get?
You just want me for the beard.
Just, yeah. and the no soul thing, the gender, it's just... Okay, now here's where I think the discussion is going to go a little bit long, but it has to be asked. Do you think that video games, GTA 5 to be exact, and now Minecraft is in the news, do they cause real-life violence?
No.
Well, no, not entirely, but no.
Okay, so we all three agree with no, but let me give you this one. Let's not say normal people. Let's say people that are already unstable. There we go. Thank you.
Mentally unstable.
My brain is not working today, if you can't tell. Anyway, if they're mentally unstable, say they have violent streaks, would you think that video games would not be something, GTA 5, anything with violence, excessive violence, would that be something that would help heighten that sense of, hey, maybe this isn't so bad?
I think it depends on, like you said, it depends on their mental state. And I think you have to, because obviously certain games will cause people with mental instabilities to mimic those video games. But I think, when the media, I think the problem here is with the media is when they take the games or they take these violent acts caused and they say, blame it on the game, and the guy had a mental disability and he played or a mental instability, and he played, GTA and went off and, shot a hooker or something. It's like... it's like the media will then blame the video game, but I don't think we should blame the video game, or at least the studio who made the game. You honestly have to blame, and this is where it's going to get tricky. The individual, if they're over 18,
and the society,
or if they're a minor, you have to blame the parents for getting the kid the game. When at GameStop they stop you and say, "Hey, there's sex and violence and this, that, and the other in this game." The thing is,
you can also trace a lot of this stuff to other media as well, as far as how it impacts the instability of the individual. From a psychological standpoint, there are a lot of influences into this perfect storm. What I find kind of interesting is that, at least here in the United States, there is actually a reduction in the amount of crime, especially violent crime, but the severity has been increasing. And I find that ironic that's associated with the increased acceptance of video games, because maybe it's contributing to these individuals possibly having ideas for more violent acts, more extreme violent acts, but less people are actually acting on them because they have the outlet of a video game, which reduces their urge to act on, say, real human beings, because they can just do it out in a video game and get rid of their aggression there.
Well, exactly. I remember being stressed out in high school, and the only thing that would help me not want to break things, not literally, but the anger, would be playing Halo 2. Just the fact that I could stand there and shoot someone in the face 19,000 times and not want to hit people. Not that I'm a violent person at all, or nor am I unstable. Please, no one call the cops. I'm not a psychopath. But the stress of school, can make you angry.
Yeah,
definitely
it can.
And so then using a video game or video games I was addicted to WoW at the same time helped me not want to act out, I guess. It gave me an outlet, like Alzorath said. So that's just kind of pertaining to real life, I guess, since, stuff on the media is not real life, apparently.
I see what you're saying. It's I came home today and I was extremely stressed out because of everything. I mean, the school was okay today. I laughed a lot in class and stuff, but it was ultimately I came home and I was stressed because I have a ton of stuff to do. And not only today, but for the rest of the year, and it's just all piling up. And I decided, let me play a game of GTA. And sure, it's a violent game, but in there I can, flip a car over a hobo or something if I want, or run over. I can do crap I can't get away with in real life.
That is so replacing flip a table in my head now. I'm just putting that one out there right now.
Yes, I'm gonna flip a car over a hobo.
Exactly.
It's a way to relieve stress for some people. For some other people who don't have or don't understand the difference between getting your stress out in video games and then getting your stress out in real life and using video games as the inspiration,
then there's a problem.
Then there's a problem there.
I personally think violent media does not increase the rate of violence in real life. But in fact, I think it reduces the rate of violence in real life. It just amplifies the ones that happen because of someone being unstable enough that they would actually take it outside. Yeah. Because there's people who play freaking pen and paper games. You have a piece of paper in front of you and your imagination. There is no violent input unless you create the violent input, and they'll think they're quite literally the fantasy character they put down on the sheet, which can be extremely dangerous. And these are the kind of people that probably shouldn't be playing video games either. So
yeah. Now, we're not saying don't play pen and paper games. We're saying don't take them to an extreme.
There are people who could take Tchaikovsky and turn it into some kind of violent inspiration.
The symbols crashed. I'm going to kill someone.
I mean, there's some really nasty overtures in there.
I mean, ultimately, it's not just video games that are violent. No, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, and I personally think the media blaming the video game entirely is just them trying to find something wrong with No, I lost my train of thought.
I think I know where you're going with that. They don't exactly... I don't think they're going after video games specifically. It's more they just don't understand video games. So it's the easiest target. It's the easiest scapegoat. It's say, oh, it's not our fault. It's so-and-so's fault. And not taking the blame upon yourself for possibly letting this thing through.
Yeah. And you can tell newscasters and the people that write their scripts don't understand video games, because if you watched the news reports for GTA 5's release and whatnot, they were just destroying what GTA 5 actually was. And they were saying, it's a murderous, evil game where you kill
the
things.
thing that's
Yeah, you
worse
do?
than newscasters is, well, things like politicians. 60-year-old guy who has never played a video game in his life. Not going to know much about it, but is making laws that can affect our ability to create and our ability to play games like these, express our imagination. You don't see them censoring books that are 100, 200 years old that contain content that is leaps and bounds more grotesque and violent than even the most violent video game currently in existence.
I mean, I think if you look at it, it's like, I think everyone's attacking video games because it's so new. It's so new to be accepted. You know, you have movies and TV have been around for an incredibly long time, and video games have only recently, in the last 10, 15 years, have gotten mass market appeal. And so it's a new form of media that's distracting people from news, movies, and everything else. It's pulling away their audience and their threats, possibly. So they're attacking video games as a way to try and, you know, point out, as a way to try and stop video games growing as an entertainment media. Or a form of entertainment.
In the 80s and 90s, it was comic books. From the 70s up until here recently, even, it's been music. You have it everywhere. Poor Marilyn Manson.
Okay, now I'm gonna pose a question that's not in the last one, but I want to ask it. Where do you guys think gaming is gonna be in the next 10 years? Are we gonna be our own culture? Like, are we going to have to shy away from how we currently do things, or are we going to be integrated in the home market?
I think,
if that makes sense. With
the Xbox One, or the Xbone, as some people are calling it, the console makers and the developers and a lot of big studios are moving towards more, not just sequels in the case of like Call of Duty and them, but also increase the amount that the family gets involved in this, or increase what we can do. So with the Xbox One, it's like we can do movies, we can do Netflix, we can do internet, we can do YouTube, and it sort of moved away from just being a gaming console. So I think we'll have two groups of people, one where we have gamers, and then we have people who play games. And so, for the people who play games, they're just casual people who will buy a video game, and we see that a lot with the app stores on mobile devices now. People who just buy games, play them for 5 minutes on their daily commute, and then are done with it. And then we have gamers who, build the custom systems, who, are hardcore into video games. And I think we'll see the divide between the two start to grow, and we'll see studios have to decide where to put their resources, whether they're going to try and cater to the big, the big household casual gamer market, or the dedicated gamer. And we're essentially, the dedicated gamers are going to become the minority here. And, are studios and companies like Microsoft and Sony going to build things for gamers, or are they going to move to where the money is? And I think that really will decide the future of gaming, is who is going to become the biggest audience for gaming, who's going to become the biggest participant. And it's going to be the casual gamers in their homes or on their smartphones who are playing for 5-10 minutes at a time.
That was a very actually interesting answer. As far as my opinions on what's going to happen in the next 10 years, I do think we're actually due for a crash. I'm going to just say that right out. We are due for another bubble burst like in 1983, whenever the market crashed from just oversaturation. We're going to see that a lot because of the indie titles, and also because of the oversaturation of sequelitis, where it's just iterative releases where they're identical pretty much, like say Madden games and Call of Duty. All of those are just iterative releases of the same thing. We're going to see probably a bubble burst in the next 5 or 6 years, I'd guess, and then we're going to start seeing a recovery of more independent titles, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a return of a lot of genres that have kind of gone dormant, which Kickstarter is actually starting to revive some of these genres, such as RPGs and other similar titles. I'm just flaking out on the names of them right now.
Side-scrollers.
Yes, side-scrollers, another good one, especially with that release of the Mega Man kind of spiritual successor.
Mighty Number 9 really hit a vibrant with the gaming community. I was super surprised to see it jump from 3.2 million to 4 million in less than 12 hours.
I'm a big supporter of that game and the Project Phoenix as well, which is going to be a return to the classic JRPG, except with a little bit of a modern twist. Yeah,
Project Phoenix looks to be absolutely fantastic. I'm still kind of flaky about it because I haven't read enough into it, but I'm honestly surprised with what's coming from Kickstarter. I mean, Project Eternity was one of the largest funded games that really kicked Kickstarter into its prime.
If I remember correctly, isn't Mighty Number 9 like the 4th biggest gaming one or something like that?
It was like Project Eternity, one other one. There's like 5 or 6 that have hit well over their goal of they've gone over like 250%, and
it's just amazing to see. So
it is. It's amazing to see how much gamers are wanting to go back to our roots.
So I mean, we look at EA, and I mean, Rockstar is perfectly fine. I mean, just look at the GTA 5 launch. I'm gonna be the GTA 5 fanboy in this podcast, but we look at EA and what happened with SimCity, and we look at all of Activision's the guys who make Assassin's Creed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's Ubisoft.
Okay, I'm totally.
Yeah, Activision.
blanking.
I think isn't Activision kind of in a downward slope? They wouldn't be even here probably if Blizzard wasn't around. Honestly,
Yeah, they were going down before Blizzard bought them. So
yeah.
I mean, you look at Ubisoft, and they've even I don't know if this is true or not, but I remember reading somewhere that they said, "Oh, we're going to come out with Assassin's Creed games every year until our fans tell us not to." And I'm like, "What are you doing?"
They don't know.
You're taking a game that people love and that is very successful, and you're gonna
destroy it. You're going to destroy the Assassin's
with
Creed
sequel
series.
after sequel after sequel. And I think now that we're starting to see a shift, and people are starting to move away from the big studios and starting to move more to independent funding like Kickstarter and indie games, are we going to see a shift in power over the next 10 years? Is EA going to crash? Are they going to disappear, and then we're going to prop up these indie studios, so we're going to become the next big studios, maybe?
Well, here's my vote with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed. They've done a decent job up until now of keeping everyone's attention. But when AC2 came out and they did Brotherhood Revelations and the other one, I forget what it's called. Maybe there's only 3. I don't remember.
Black Flag is coming out next, I think.
But but when they released AC2 with the 2 sequels right behind each other, back to back, pretty much, that started to show me that the decline in the Assassin's Creed series was going. 3 was a great game because they picked the perfect setting, but I don't know how well 4 is going to do. Yeah, it looks beautiful. Yeah, it's pirates and it's what we've wanted, kind of. But they skipped one of the largest and most voted for time periods.
Samurais.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the pirate thing, it was in reaction to, oh my god, the boat driving in 3 is amazing.
Yeah, and like it's a great idea. Don't get me wrong. The fact that I can customize a ship and blow somebody else to smithereens, but I think it's going to be yet another mechanic that's going to be broken in the Assassin's Creed series. Much like the camera, much like climbing buildings, you're going to be vexed by that camera while trying to shoot people from your ship. So it's just going to be yet another thing that got to balance in multiplayer, or even with patches to single player, that's just going to make you not want to buy the next one.
Honestly, this kind of stuff just makes me reminded of basically the EA syndrome.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these things are just, a lot of these big companies are just buying up these promising younger companies and then driving them to the ground. I mean, the first like big stone on companies that fell to this was Westwood, Command and Conquer, the original.
Yeah. Yep.
Westwood got eaten alive by EA. Maxis was next. Now you see the latest Sims. That's not even Maxis anymore. That's EA.
Yeah, when Maxis went under, I cried. I was desperately upset.
Ubisoft almost fell to it. Now they're doing the same thing to other companies. You just have company after company after company doing this, and it's not going to be good for the industry. That's why I see a collapse in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
I think in 10 years we'll be recovering from this. I don't think we'll be fully recovered. I think in 15 years we will see another golden age of games. I think that's what we're going to end up seeing. We're going to see a revival of a lot of story-driven and gameplay-centered games with a lot better hardware behind them, so we're going to be able to see some amazing things that can actually become true classics of gaming rather than just really, really good games, which we have very few classics right now. I mean, we have some in the Final Fantasy series, some in the Marios, where it's gameplay that makes it classic. I'm
sorry to interrupt you, but
it's all right.
I feel like you see it in the Museum of Modern Art. They had the whole gaming exhibit, and I think I can add to the list of classics in Portal. Now, some might say, oh, wow, Portal, so unique and original for saying that, but it's true. Portal was something totally different. It was a totally unique new game for its time. No one ever really thought of that concept before. Not that I know of. I could be totally blanking out on some game that came before Portal that was just like it or whatever. But we're seeing that there are these classics, these very far and few between modern classics like Portal, and they're starting to be recognized for it. But like, I agree with you, Alzorath, in that over the next 10 years, we're going to see a crash and we're going to stop making good games, or at least based or comparing them to the past games, they're going to become, sequel after sequel after sequel.
Well, here's my issue with claiming Portal. It's not. I'm not saying it's not a classic, but it's a puzzle game. It's the unique mechanics of the puzzle game. Yeah, that's innovative, but it's a puzzle game. Not saying it's not. I think it's
too short to become a literal classic. I think it's more like a classic short story, kind of like how Metamorphosis is a classic book. It's not exactly going to live up in the annals of like literary history for the long term, but it's going to be in
Super
memory.
Mario Bros. But it's going to be there. It's going to be a noteworthy game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's like comparing the Great Gatsby versus the Metamorphosis.
Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
What is the one game you wished would come back? The game series, the game idea, the mechanics, the people, the studio. What's the one thing you want to come back before the game crash to hopefully keep it from happening if you could?
Oh, that's a tough one, because the company that actually makes the game I wish would come back is not the company it used to be. I want to see the old Squaresoft.
We all do, dude.
The old Squaresoft.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But
Super Mario
unfortunately,
RPG. Booyah.
I actually
Super
want to see...
Mario RPG was great. But
I really want to see, guys, is Flight Simulator. Because I loved... Okay, I'm a total nerd when it comes to Flight Simulator, because I loved Flight Simulator 11, and it was just so realistic, and I got immersed in a simulator, which is very difficult, because I've always wanted to fly, and I was able to do that in Flight Simulator 11. And then they came out with Flight, which was like... You had to pay for going outside of Hawaii and for other planes. I'm like, what the hell is this, Microsoft? I wanted a Flight Simulator 12 that could take advantage of next-gen computer hardware, not some shitty DLC-ridden pile of crap.
Microtransaction.
Yeah, it was. I was so disappointed. I was so excited with the first preview video, and then I saw how it developed, and I was like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't waste my money on this. So I would have to say I want a good flight simulator to come back.
Now, this is where I'm going to go back to whenever I was a small child. I want to see the original LucasArts team to come back.
I just thought of the group that I want to come back.
Who?
Gas-powered games or
Rare.
Gas-powered games or Rare. Both of them killed by Microsoft. But
oh god, you just gave me a heart attack, because if we could get the original team that made up of Rare and made up the good games, I would probably die happy. Because, and this is why that you just reminded me, gave me a heart attack. We got a teaser image of E3 2013, like 5 or 6 days before, and they showed a Banjo-Kazooie game image.
Mm-hmm.
And we were all speculating on what that could be. Could that be a return back to the platformer that we know and love as Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie? And then somebody's like, no, because if you think about it, it's going to be a puzzle game or it's going to be mini games. It's not going to be what you want. And we're like, the old Rare's dead. And they've been dead.
Oh, yeah, they've been dead
sad
for a while.
But from what I've heard, their contract with Microsoft, even though I thought I heard they bought them, I've read their contract's up next year.
Yeah.
So if that's the truth, Nintendo might, if they're smart, Nintendo, if you're listening to this, and I hope you are, buy Rare again. Buy them.
I wouldn't put money on Nintendo buying them.
No, I'm not, but buy them. Do it.
Actually, I would rather see them come out as an independent studio and go through Kickstarter.
So would I. I would love to see them do a Banjo-Kazooie spiritual successor.
I honestly think small developers are going to be the kind of saviors of...
They'll be the lifeblood.
Yeah, they'll keep it alive. Independent developers, Kickstarter, and similar projects. There's actually other sites besides Kickstarter that are doing the same thing. There's a lot of indie developer sites. There's also even some other crowdsourcing sites where it's more of a kind of PayPal kind of donation thing where you get the money whenever it's put in, which I don't personally do, but they're out there.
Okay.
That could be the kind of saving grace of our industry until the big guys fall again. I mean, we saw THQ fall. I'm sad that we saw THQ fall, but at least it's a sign that the big dogs are dying off.
Yeah.
We need Square... I hate to say this. We need Square Enix to die. We need EA to die. We need Microsoft games to fade off at least a little bit. They're not going to die because they're Microsoft.
Of course.
Sony, perfectly fine. They haven't really done anything too bad in the recent years, but we just need some of these companies to die off and some small kind of upstarts to come in and take their role. Hopefully some of them will grow up to be that, but it's a question of whether they're going to turn into these big monsters again or not. So,
see, Telltale has done something that most companies haven't. They've made a name for themselves, but they produce quality games. It's not, oh, we're finally making money thanks to The Walking Dead and the Lego games. Let's go ahead and produce crap. No, they sit back and take their time and they build great games. I've been pleasantly surprised with every game of theirs that I've played except Lego Batman 2, because that was they introduced voice acting and it just kind of ruined what was the Lego games. But every game up until then I have absolutely loved, and there's been no, when's the next Telltale game coming out? Because there's always a release date and they always meet it. There's none of this, oh, sorry, we had to push it back. Oh, we forgot to include this, so we're going to push it back. Or, oh, we don't have the money to do this anymore, bye.
I have a question for you guys. I don't know how much time we have left, but or how
We're
much,
in about 30 minutes right now. Go.
Yeah, it's gaming hardware. You know, the move we're seeing a lot of hype around the 3D. Oh God, I keep blanking on the name of it. It's a 3D virtual reality headset that you wear.
Oculus
Rift, or the Oculus Rift. Like, how successful do you think that's going to become? Because
Oculus Rift is going to flop eventually. The thing is, Oculus Rift is kind of like, it's the paving stone. It's the, I'm trying to remember the name of some of the early systems before Atari. We had
Virtual Boy.
Oh, before.
Oh, no,
Atari.
Before. God, I'm stupid.
Not after Atari. Virtual Boy was crap. That gave me a headache. Leave that one alone. Leave it in its grave. But there were a bunch of small systems before Atari became big. Atari was the big breakthrough, with Nintendo riding on it, making an even bigger breakthrough. But before that happened, we had a bunch of small upstarts, and I think that's what Oculus Rift is with the 3D hardware. It's going to be kind of like the early Atari, or even before that, and we'll have Sony, we'll have Microsoft, we'll have possibly even Nintendo, and maybe even some other studios we're going to be surprised by, possibly even Valve, or we could see EA try to enter the hardware market, which would be kind of scary as hell.
Oh, God.
I hate to propose that, but I think they could seriously do it.
I'm going to have nightmares now.
Imagine something worse than Red Ring of Death. But
oh, God.
Anyway,
guys,
I can see these companies entering the virtual reality field.
Before Atari, Virtual Boy.
Yeah, that's gonna haunt you forever. I'm just
I don't even know.
That was
Oculus
an evil
Rift.
little red system.
I know, that was horrible. Oculus Rift, I think it's a stepping stone. It's a great idea, but I've watched even videos of it being recorded, and it looks cool. I don't think it's actually going to be something that's going to be developed for exclusively. We're not going to see only an Oculus Rift Skyrim Special Edition.
We're definitely not going to see it made specifically for it. The big companies won't allow that.
No,
They'll want to develop it on their own hardware. That way they can kind of isolate it to say, if you buy our system, you get this cool piece of equipment. It's going to be Blu-ray versus HD DVD.
Oh, God, HD DVD was such a bad idea. I mean, like, virtual reality has been something that's been tried and tried and tried and tried till it's almost a dead technology. Yes, it's a hope and a dream, but I mean, even with Microsoft's, I think they called it Next Room or X Room or Game Room. I don't remember what they called it. They actually have the games showing on the wall and you can interact with it, but it's not like a game like we know and love. It's kind of like an interactive world.
We're in a very strange spot with it.
Yeah, and like it's a technology that I would love to see come to pass, but I think it's still far off.
I don't think it's as far off as you might think. I
don't think it's going to be like 20 years from now, but I don't think it's going to be next week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 5 to 10 years before we see it hit, not necessarily mainstream, but it'll hit something kind of like possibly some of the Wii peripherals became really popular for a while there. I see it becoming one of those really popular peripherals that kind of changes gaming, although I don't see it taking off as being something that is supported, like this game will only play with a 3D system for maybe 50 years, because honestly, to market a game, you need to have footage people can watch.
Yep. And
to do that, you have to have it be able to play on a normal monitor. So you're going to have it developed both for a normal monitor and something like the Oculus Rift. I don't think it's going to be the Oculus Rift, unfortunately.
No.
But you're going to have this kind of dual development.
I think the Oculus Rift is like you said, a stepping stone. It's like the proof of concept. It's like the prototype model that got put out
Here's
there.
what we can do. Do you want to check it out? Do you want to look at it and reverse engineer it? We'll give it to you.
It's here you used to have these big clunky machines that you have to have like 5 people to move so you can stand in it and play the game. Now you have something you can strap to your skull and play the game like normal. We even have gloves and extra peripherals you can stand on that you can use with it.
Yeah.
It's just that little middle ground right there that's gonna spark a big revolution, I think, in gaming. We're gonna see Sony have their own proprietary version, definitely. We're gonna see Microsoft have their own proprietary version, definitely. I think
they've already touched that with Kinect 2. Kinect 2's gonna be fantastic. Nintendo has already touched it too with their Wii sensors. They just have masked it under the name of a controller.
I'm not so sure Wii's gonna actually go into the 3D imagery realm with it, though.
Well, the 3D, I'm not saying the 3DS is 3D because it's really not. It's it's a box, but it's a start.
I think Nintendo's still gun shy from the Virtual Boy.
They probably are. And guys, it did not come before the Atari.
I don't know how successful the 3DS was, but I never used it.
It has sold very, very nicely, actually. It's one of the highest selling. Yeah, it's one of the highest selling consoles in Japan. It's hit.
It's selling well not because of its 3D technology, though. It's selling well because of kick-ass titles that's got on.
Yes. The number one selling pre-order, or one of the highest selling pre-orders in Japan right now, is the Pokemon games. Obviously, as we knew it would be.
X and Y.
But yes, I wasn't going to say the names. They don't want to be a nerd. Thanks, Alzorath.
I have to be the nerd.
That's fine. The numbers for the 3DS, I can't tell you exactly, but I can tell you that it's fixing to become a more prominent handheld. You're going to see it more in the U.S. You're going to see more college students with it because of the, as Alzorath so kindly put it, kick-ass titles. Pokemon and this holiday season is going to be a big release cycle for Nintendo. They've just now hit their stride with the Wii U with Wind Waker HD. We've got the Wonderful 101 coming out for the Wii U. 3DS, we've got A Link Between Worlds. We've got Pokemon. Now we've got Mighty Number 9, which won't be out to 2015, but still, that's going to bring some hype. I mean, there's a snowball of titles coming out to the smaller consoles that weren't seen as big contenders that will now be big contenders come December. November marks the release for our next-gen consoles, but numbers from what I've known haven't been that big because they're so damn expensive.
Also,
sorry.
GTA 5 is not for the PS4, and when I discovered this, I was like, screw it, I'll get the PS3. So that is one thing there.
Yes, Rockstar said they're not developing it for the PS4, which is a good move on their part. Alzorath, what were you going to say? Go.
Okay, I was going to kind of like go into 2 questions to kind of close this one off with.
Go for it.
First one is, what was the biggest gaming disappointment you had of 2013? Just gaming news or anything like that?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Because there have been some big whammies this year.
I'd honestly have to say THQ closing really kind of hit because there were so many good IPs that are now probably going to go into the dirt. Darksiders being probably one of the more prominent IPs that I don't want to see go away.
If you look at that, though, you actually have some that are getting revived. I mean, look at Homeworld.
I'm still wary about Homeworld, though. Granted, it's coming back, and I'm excited for it, but I'm just not sure.
I'm interested to see how the ground-based Homeworld plays out. So,
yeah,
there's good and bad that can come from it. A lot of IPs got kind of shafted, but a number of them got good homes that I wasn't expecting. So,
another upset that I hated was 38. Was it 38 or 83 Studios that did Kingdoms of Amalur?
Oh, I'm forgetting.
Okay, well, the studio that did Kingdoms of Amalur, whenever they declared bankruptcy, I was just like, okay, this game was going to be a Skyrim-esque fantasy, amazing MMO that I was actually excited for, and you go and kill it.
Well, now you have the Skyrim MMO that you can play.
Yeah, but I'm still worried about that too because it's
it's pay to play.
Yeah, and the Elder Scrolls just doesn't really fit the MMO market. Yeah, I've always wanted co-op, but it just I don't know.
I wish there was just like an over Steam co-op way to play.
I mean,
that would require some serious client hacking.
Yeah, but that's all that we wanted. We didn't want to play with 5 billion other people. I wanted me and like 2 or 3 friends.
That'd be awesome.
That would make the Elder Scrolls series so great.
We'll have to do a Baldur's Gate like that.
See, Baldur's Gate 2 is getting the enhanced edition. I'm excited for that. But enough of that. Phil, biggest upset 2013, go.
SimCity, hands down. EA just, and I rejoiced when the CEO resigned, and I was hoping it was over this. It could have been, it's probably over everything that's happened since he took over, but to be honest, it was just SimCity, because I was following it very closely. That was one of the first games I actually like really followed since the beginning of the development. And I never played any earlier SimCity game, but I love the concept of it. I could just never really get into the world. And with what they showed off, I was like, this is amazing. And then the disappointment started coming out, and then the upset started coming out all over Reddit and across the internet, and about the city size limits and all that. And I was waiting. I was still hopeful, waiting for patches to come out to maybe fix these things. Never did. I mean, it's gotten better, but it's been such a disappointment, and how EA handled the customer service aspect of that just kind of let me down and made me realize that, maybe I kind of should just give up on EA at this point. They kind of... And I don't want to say it was Maxis's fault, because I loved The Sims, and I didn't play, but I was really into the concept.
It's not classic Maxis anymore.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's no longer Maxis, so...
Another thing that
yeah.
sucks me about the CEO resigning is the one they replaced him with.
Yeah.
Sports. Oh God. The least creative branch of the entire EA.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Another big upset for me, I'm going to throw it out there for let Alzorath answer, was SWTOR. SWTOR was the biggest disappointment in MMO gaming to date. I loved that game. Such a good storyline. The end game being broken at release was just unforgivable. The fact that they still haven't fixed it from what I know. And then the move to free-to-play was just like, you're killing what could have been the most amazing MMO based on the Star Wars lore ever. Galaxies was great, but SWTOR really gave us the freedom that we wanted with our Jedi or our Sith. We were finally able to pick a Sith and be evil. We weren't just, here's your prompts, you got to pick the most evil out of 3. No, you were able to be just downright malicious, and it was awesome. And then they killed it. And I cried.
Aww.
That and BioWare's leads leaving too. I was like, really, guys? Really? You guys build up this amazing storytelling company, and then you leave. Thanks. Dump the door, kick and lay out.
You never know if they're going to go have another big project, though. So.
Well, I hope so, because they are two of the most innovative, amazing storytellers that I've ever come to know besides...
If only East could meet West there.
LucasArts.
I mean, those guys plus some of the artistic directors of Square would be just insane.
I agree.
Dream
Alzorath,
Team.
Biggest upset of 2013.
Hands down, Oya. Or Oya, or however you pronounce it.
However the hell you pronounce that crap.
Ooh, yeah.
Ouya.
I think it's like, oh yeah, almost.
It's
oh yeah.
And it's not
Cool
the box that disappoints me. It's not even the concept that disappoints me. It's the fact that so many people have gone after him. First of all, there's been so many people going, ha, you did it wrong, that just kind of bit them in the butt. And on top of that, their marketing has been horrible. They could have done so much more with this. They could have tried to get licenses for classic games, because they have the box there that can run these emulators. They can run everything up to easily N64 emulators without a problem. They could have gotten licenses to distribute some classic ROMs from companies that are either small or defunct, or whose rights aren't ever going to have release again. They could have worked that out with the companies and actually made, hey, look, we're a cheap gaming console. You can play all these great classics, and you can get all these new indie games, and we're supporting indies at the same time.
And it's legal.
Yeah, without all the problems. But no, they decided to go with the aspect of, we're going to back all these indies that we know nothing about with our money, and ignore this entire classic gaming retro tool that we have here that is a good half of why anybody would buy this system.
Exactly. Had they marketed for the old games that I love as a kid that you can't find anymore, shit, I'd have bought probably 20 of them.
I would have bought one.
I know. I was like,
I'm still tempted to buy one and just run an emulator on it, but
yeah, I mean,
that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah. Alzorath, what's the second question?
Second question, what is the highlight in gaming of 2013? Not favorite game, just most good moment that you've seen. like the most maybe charitable aspect or possibly newest release that you were extremely hyped about? Just something like that to end on a good note.
For me, it was the revival of the point-to-click. As you guys know, I've been hyping and loving all the point-to-click adventures games that I've had and bought and own and have found. And the release of Cognition, which is an Erica Reed thriller, I guess that's the whole title, that game has brought back my joy of point-to-clicks. I've played a few that I bought that I was just like, what is this? But that game, which was released, I think like 5 or 6 days ago, maybe even a week ago, it's brought back the love that I had for that genre, because it's not a game that holds your hand. It doesn't say, hey, click this glowing object with your mouse and you'll move to it. Or here's the answer to your puzzle. It's like, no, you mess up, you're going to die. And you got to go back. Just like Monkey Island used to do, except for Monkey Island, I don't think he ever died. But you actually have to figure out puzzles. It's a return to the original, what's what I'm looking for, formula that made point-to-clicks great. Which is a genre that I find is underloved and underappreciated and underdeveloped.
If you do want to go back to point-and-clicks, I highly recommend I Have No Mouth, but I Must Scream or something like that.
Okay.
I'll look you up the specific title for it, but
yeah, that'd
definitely
be great.
look that one up.
All right, I will.
I can link you to a Let's Play of it.
Go for it.
My number one moment of 2013 is actually...
GTA 5.
No, not GTA 5. Slightly related to it, except no, not really.
Hot coffee?
I found out that too. I found out that apparently when you, and this is like just a weird, insignificant like piece of news, but when you buy a PS4 game on your smartphone, your PS4, if it's plugged in, wakes up, downloads the game, and then goes back to sleep. So that was just the amazing. Like the thing is, I discovered that, and it was just crazy and awesome. And
that is cool.
I'm blown by it.
Awesome.
Like you could connect. Just it's amazing, and I love it. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
Alzorath, I'm gonna guess yours is gonna be Steam.
No, but I really do like the Steam announcements this year. I love the fact that they're going with the Steam box, and glad that it's not one fixed model. And I'm also glad that they're actually coming out with a controller. I am so signed up to try and get in that beta. I hope I get in, but I highly doubt I will. Yeah, because only like 300 people will be picked.
Yep, and I can guarantee you, I know that the Oxcast will be probably 6 of those.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, those 300 are actually outside of the number, if I remember correctly. There's like a certain number of pressed models as well.
Oh,
interesting. Go out in addition to it.
We're going to talk about the Steam releases in the next podcast. That's going to be the next topic, because it's an actual topic we can discuss and not a Q&A. Okay. Alzorath, highlight of 2013, go.
The increased surge in TCGs and the increased surge in tactical games.
I knew it.
Because outside of RPGs, those are two of my favorite genres. I'm actually, one of the games that I'm looking at right now is a real-time kind of game called RimWorld that I finally got the development build of, and I'm going to be covering on my channel fairly soon. So
very nice. I'm super excited to see that. I love, and just to kind of coax your gingerness and your ego and your no soul, I love watching you play your TCGs, because I may not have the brain that understands the deck and how to build it and make the best deck possible and be good, but I love the fact that I know somebody who does, and I can watch them, and I don't have to sit there and learn the game. You just play it. You don't actually sit down and teach people what to do. You're just like, here's my deck, I'm going to play it. Yes, you have your tech breakdowns and such, but I don't watch those. But I get to watch you play Shadow Era, and I get to watch you learn and play Hex. And it's something for me as an observer that I'm just like, this guy knows what he's doing. Heck yeah. It's not just, I'm going to click this card and it's going to go and I'm going to die. Oh, damn.
I'm a theory crafter more than a player, though, unfortunately.
I know, but you theory craft in such a way that it's just awesome.
Thank you.
just to go to. And Phil, granted you don't play games, but I bet your Grand Theft Auto flipping cars over hobos is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
I so want to see a cinematic for that.
Dude, okay.
I have to get
when I get my 360 back, I will load up and I will just start flipping cars over hobos, hopefully. And with that, my dogs are barking, and we will end this podcast.
One announcement, though, beforehand. I want to just let our viewers know. Videos were scarce for a while, but I just want to announce that I was once doing day-to-day operations for OGN, but that has now been passed on to Bastion. I'm still sort of around sometimes, but just to let you guys know, Bastion is taking over day-to-day. So. And
I'm horrible at it. I've been busy as of late. To that, I do apologize to you guys, but I'm getting back into the swing of things, and there will be videos coming shortly. I promise. And if not, you guys can all bring me the steak. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Thanks, Alzorath. I'm glad you're just like, whatever. We got that, bro.
We'll burn you on the stake for fun. We'll do it while I'm working on my super secret project. We'll use you as light.
Oh, yeah. Dude, yes. I like light. All right, so with that, the OGN US podcast is done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed listening, and we will be back again in a couple of weeks. Maybe next week. We're not sure. We're going to schedule time and whatnot. But thanks for listening, and we will see you guys again soon.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you guys.